is still a possibility, like we mentioned about the dive tanks instead of something like a 3-3.
Yeah, and if Davin's coming out of a Tracer, Kevster's going to be one of the people who can try to control him on a Doomfist. I wonder if he'll stay on this. It would seem kind of strange to me. They would, I guess, have to go for a 3-man dive with Superpluke, Morsi, and Kevster, but no, Kevster's going to swap over now onto that Zarya and Team Gigantti. They're going to have the Sombra, like we mentioned before. It's the 2-hit scan, sort of semi-dive. He's also going to swap over to Brigitte. There's been a couple of baits on us. For baits and switches, I've been thoroughly bamboozled as Team Gigantti swap up that team composition. Lilbo's going to ferry everyone back, and now they're going to try and jostle for position over this primary high ground in the center. But already, Angry Titans have control of the Mega Health Pack.
That they do. Superpluke can just kind of dash back to that, like you mentioned. So all of extra health available. Point does unlock, though, and Gigantti do make the first move. Jumping on the point to secure capture percentage. Forces AT to actually rotate onto the point as well. Monkeyman already using his bubble fairly early. Signs that he's really not going to go for this big dive. And Team Gigantti actually end up securing the point. Morsi had to get off, who's taken way too much damage, ran out of Matrix, and now Superpluke's in trouble as well.
Angry Titan's going to be pressing on forward right here, but Superpluke, he's caught in a corner. Zuppe just suppressing him so well. There's a headshot, and he's going to have to get out and get healing.
Yeah, that he will. And Zuppe, look, 94%. He's already got a Transcendence. This will be the first ult online in this game. In fact, Aafox just got his online, so just beating him to the punch ever so swiftly. But still, Gigantti with control over the point is going to be good. Double support ult now available for them as the beat comes online as well. Fat not too far behind, though.
Team Gigantti going to be happy to try and sustain themselves here as Leaf moves forward. Going to be proccing that Inspire a lot of aura healing available here. Team Gigantti going to be caught in a grab.
Going to come in. Easy Transcendence for Zuppe. Not too much instant burst damage. Big Boop actually coming through from Little Bo. Secures the first kill of the map. Urki does end up going down. Rally popped for Leaf as well, making them way more tough to actually kill off. Superpluke using that Primal Rage to try and get a bit of value, knocking people into the pit, but found absolutely nothing, and now Angry Titans have to back off.
Yeah, and this has all basically just been one long fight, Jaws. They haven't really committed a huge amount. Milky Man doesn't have that shield, so he's going to have to try and get away from the attentions of his long-range DPS, Kevster. And Aafox, they're pummeling him at long range, forcing him to try and use those resources so he cannot dive onto Aafox. If he can get an assassination on the Zenyatta, that would be absolutely huge. But for now, it's going to be all about the rally engage.
Morsi is pretty low already. Superpluke has to dive out already. That's not where you want to be if you're Morsi, to be honest. You don't want to be up against fully charged Zarya. Little Bo finds another poop onto Kevster, booping him in the well, and now Milky Man using that Primal Rage to deal with the back line. Aafox doesn't stand a chance. Even had the Transcendence at his back. A beat comes out from Fat to try and secure more in the fight. They end up trading 2 Zenyatas as Zuppe ends up falling as well. But Team Gigantti still have control of the point with the beat at their backs as well.
They do still have that sound barrier. Aafox may have to match it, but Morsi can try and force out. Here comes the self-destruct.
Straight into the bubble. Doesn't end up getting anybody as Milky Man and the rest of the crew are able to scurry back. Superpluke ends up going down as Gigantti have firm control of this point, refusing to let it go. And now Davin has almost got a grab. A Transcendence is used so early by Aafox. This is going to be so free for Gigantti now. He can farm it off Morsi. A Graviton Surge is going to get used on the AT side, but no follow-up damage at all. Everything in the kitchen sink is thrown at Gigantti, AT, sorry. But Davin just grabbed them off the point. Overtime ticked through, and they clear the first map 100-0.
And Gigantti's rotations there are so clean, Jaws. They're using their health pools as a resource. You've got to think about the clock, you've got to think about your ultimates, think about your abilities and your health pools. Because you trade that health when you're coming out to contest for point in exchange for a percentage. Because you know you're going to be pummeled from long range by Kevster, with high energy, by Aafox, with those orbs of destruction. But they rotated it incredibly well. They also meant that Milky Man could use his shield to keep that point contested, keep himself alive, trade that health, of course, for percentage. All that did mean he was having a lot more trouble getting onto Aafox, and we saw that he went for a deep dive and had to commit his Primal Rage to try and get that kill. But eventually, that got the value that he wanted. Right now, Team Gigantti got to switch on up. We have a Mei on both sides and a Reinhardt on both sides as well. Superpluke and Milky Man, they're going to meet in the middle. They're going to be staring forlornly across the battleground, holding up those shields as they jostle for position. Angry Titans want point position here so they can try and isolate a Reinhardt as he moves in.
Gigantti already taken a lot of space. Morsi's actually low on the side. Blew his ice block fairly early. Both walls come out as well to try and serve as miniature targets for the Reinhardt to aim at and pin someone up against, but no one's found just yet as the point unlocks.
Two-pronged attack. They're going to jostle around the central pillar as well. No one really wants to move on to a point for fear of being isolated first. Zappis forced out of that block. That may be the go signal for Angry Titans, knowing that invincibility isn't available. They don't want to risk it because Leaf's up above. He could try and get a stun here onto the Reinhardt, make Superpluke incredibly vulnerable, but he has such an advantage on this Earthshot. Look at how far he is ahead of Milky Man. He's hitting these fire strikes, and that means huge value for the Reinhardt. They can try and get aggressive. There
Shadow
it
on the
is.
side, the bash onto the Reinhardt as well is going to end Erky's life rather swiftly. But now, Angry Titans have control of the point. Both bricks have been traded, but Angry Titans holding fast. Super Blue can try and move in now, try and punish Milky Man for his over-aggression, but he is punished for his aggression this time around. The wall was there to cut him off, and Zander ends up finding the kill onto Morsi as well. AT may have capped the point, but Gigantti were able to swiftly cap it back as soon as Super Pluke fell over.
Very successful wall there from Zappis, isolating Super Luke. That is the main win condition of both of these mage draws. They need to be isolating a single member or maybe bisecting a team as they try and make an engagement. This is why your Mei is so important on the defense. And that's because you're moving into them. They can predict your movements, and not only that, they can see when you go through, and your supports will reasonably assumed be a little bit further behind. They want to be behind that shield, not taking as much poke. And you can see Zappis where he's setting up that wall. They want to allow for Milky Man to get a charge onto Super Pluke if he goes through edge, because he's just going to have all wall behind him. There's very little risk that he would overextend into an enemy team. Instead, looking at this rotation, they want to move back. They want to play on the point instead, get one person to come in and contest, because you can't leave the point alone.
Well, Morsi just got a nice little pick up on the little bow. Morsi goes fairly low himself, but pops him into the block, himself into the block rather quickly to regain some. Gigantti do have a combo available. They could shatter and go straight into a blizzard, or they could do the other way around. A grab comes out, although from AT to make sure they can't get the combo off. A Transcendence from A-Fox as well to make sure they survive the initial engagement. Zerpe's going to also lay down his Transcendence, but a beat to back them up now. It's a big trade for AT as their beat was used way later, so they can play way more aggressively. Zappis ends up going down, but Milky Man managed to at least trade one kill. A grab came through from Davin to lock people up onto the sidelines, but as soon as your Reinhardt falls, there's no extra damage to really throw into that grab. And AT come out on top. Delayed support usage meant they won the fight.
Yeah, delayed support usage. When you look at that fight, it's a battle of wits draws. It's a battle of chicken between these two Lucios. The offensive ults are flying out. Your team's in danger. Who's going to crack first? Who's going to use the sound barrier to give the overshield that is needed for the survival to keep themselves on that point? Fat cracks after. He uses the sound barrier after and gets the value from it. Team Gigantti going to rotate through. None of them were bisected, so now Super Blue has to be very cautious about moving forward.
Shadow's available though. He does use the slam on the ground, hits two, but instantly you can see Milky Man jumping in front, and Zappis was on the side all along as well. 3 damage from the Mei. An instant kill onto the Zen 2. Gigantti, they win the fight for now, but AT have had enough time to build up a couple of ults of their own. Morsi's 50% away towards that blizzard. We haven't seen any snow globe ultimate usages just yet. That grab with the blizzard, so deadly, and it was back in Season 3 of 2018. Just no one favoring it currently.
And you can make the attempt to engage with the blizzard here, because it's one of the more easy ultimates to eat. It does have, of course, the cast time, and it's a very easily telegraphed ultimate, but no divas are on the field, so it means that Zappis can just use it.
They're going to have to get back to the point quickly. It's 97%. They managed to touch in the end. Graviton Surge comes out, but Zappe heals everybody up with a trance, and Leaf already finds a kill. And now Milky Man can look for the shadow. He's only one hammer swing away. He lays it down, but straight into the shield of Super Pluke. That's the ult they wanted to get rid of first. Now Milky Man is isolated on the sidelines, but he's got Leaf to back him up. Another grab comes through from Davin, and that should be it. AT have laid down their own blizzard, in fact, but need to just target focus everybody down because they haven't got the damage to really follow this one up. Zappis ends up finding the last kill onto Leaf. Gigantti end up taking Sanctum and Village back-to-back and secure the first map of the series.
It's not just a few mechanical outplays. They're on the side of Team Gigantti. They have a better forward planning to try and make that one work. And I'm particularly impressed with how they rotated themselves on Sanctum to keep that contested. Like, the entire thing, it was basically 2 fights on Sanctum, right? We had one fight that got us up to like 60% for Gigantti, and no one really died over that time, apart from maybe a couple of picks here and there. There were no definitive victories. And then we saw like an ultimate phase of the game that came incredibly late. After 60%, then we saw the Gravitons used, and we saw support ultimates used, and eventually the only thing that Gigantti really needed the Graviton for was just grabbing people off the point.
Gigantti looking like their former selves. AT, unfortunately still not managing to even clutch out a map when on control. We'll have to wait and see how they do on the next map though. Do not go anywhere. It's coming up next. Hey guys, welcome back. Map number 2 on your screens very soon. AT Hurry looking slightly rattled, slightly shaken, slightly shook in that first map. Didn't really feel like they had a single fight 6-on-6 half that time. Gigantti were just rolling their ults and using them just way better than AT in that entire first map. It just didn't feel like they had a chance.
Yeah, a little bit shaken, but let's hope the coach can stir up some better attempts here. On Volskaya Industries is going to be Angry Titans moving forward here. They need to be in the positive mindset. They're not looking great this season. There's so much pressure on these players' shoulders. Morsi, think about the 2 pairs of huge shoes he's got to fill. He's got to fill Elivo's shoes. He's got to fill Emil's shoes as well. That's a lot to rest on someone's shoulders. And obviously, Superfluke, he's a Contenders winner as well. He won in front of the home crowd at Paris World Cup Stop 2018 with Eagle Gaming.
The best team in the world.
The best team that we ever saw. And now he's got to bring that magic to the Angry Titans. He's got to imbue the best team mentality in these 6 players.
Well, hopefully they can do it on Volskaya Industries. Like you said, that is our assault map of the day. They do get to choose where they start, though, on the attack or defense. But it does look like Angry Titans are going to be the setting one. They're going to be the pace car, the series, and the map. They need to be able to just dismantle Gigantti's front line. Milky Man had so much space. He had so much pressure on the back line as well. We saw him jump in with the Primal Rage on Sanctum, like little to no cares in the world, just assassinating AFOX on the back line on the Zen. We didn't really see huge impact from Superfluke on the Winston. It was very lackluster. It was more just trading out with Zuppe, who Zuppe was winning. Like, he was just hitting headshots just so far off.
He had him in a corner, basically.
Yeah, basically.
He was in prison. That gorilla was deep in zoo prison right there.
Gigantti 1-0 up in the series, and you got to think, is this actually going to rattle the mental of AT? Because you haven't had the best start to the season. Like you said, there are champions on this roster. There are players that have been around for a very long, long time and not have actually faced a situation that they're currently in. This could be them going 0-3 to start the season. And if you looked back all the way to week number 1, you wouldn't have thought this would be a case or a place they would be in.
Yeah, if you went back to pretty much any point in Contenders history except for this season, you would have thought Angry Titans would be like 2-0 right now. But not the case this time. Team Gigantti going to start off on the defense. We have Zappis on this Sombra. It's going to be incredibly interesting to see what he can achieve with the more stealthy hero. He's going to straight away go for a little bit of an exchange with Morsi, but his main target likely is going to be with Fat and AFOX. He can do a lot of damage onto Superfluke and Morsi from long range due to the SMG spread, so he can very quickly build up towards that EMP, which is going to be crucial for getting rid of Superfluke's shield. I'd like to see the Angry Titans. They swapped up their comp, but they haven't swapped the Ana, because Ana's a lot less vulnerable to the Sombra, because she does have that sleep, of course, and she can still heal while she's hacked using her primary fire.
There's a whole lot of healing as well. Zap is getting denied, a lot of that damage coming through by both the bubbles and shields and the defense matrix. Normally fairly hard to get a lot of damage as the Sombra, but if you can just find your way around a flank, it's fairly easy, especially for someone like Doha, which I'm sure a lot of people have been studying when it comes to this comp.
Yeah, got to study Doha, see how he's building up those EMPs straight away. Angry Titan's going to move on to a point. They do have the health back control here for AFOX, so it's going to be a little bit harder to assassinate for Urki, or for Zappis, who gets a hack onto Urki.
Yeah, Urki can't put up that shield. Still frontlining though, doesn't really seem to care all that much. Now Zappis has the high ground. Kevster and AFOX take a whole lot of damage from that Flame Strike. And now it's Superfluke just trying to match the ult charge that Milky Man has. He's up to about 50%.
Yeah, they are going to now just be exchanging blows and exchanging ticks as well. Angry Titans have got first. Milky Man needs to play on this corner right now. They need to rotate like they did on Sanctum.
EMP is available for Zappis. Instantly throws it in, but that bio grenade was perfect. Davin and Milky Man went purple. AT managed to kill off Superfluke, yes, but they're all still alive. Davin now is going to throw in the grab regardless. Kevster's shield fades away and his life almost fades away right in front of his very eyes. The nano boost just saving him in time though, and a return grab from Kevster in amongst all of it. And now he's nanoed. No one can approach him, and he's got so much charge as well. 2 ticks have been acquired from AT if Gigantti don't get on. There's the second, and now Gigantti just stalling for time. AT have the spawn advantage. Zuppe's going to go down. Kevster doesn't need to worry. He's got all the backup in the world. Davin's not going to kill him from there. And AT are going to cap this point in 2 minutes, yes. But they got another 4 in their time back now.
And AFOX was so happy to use his nano boost. He's already 50% of the way to another one. Kevster got solo grabbed. And you're losing your tank, you know that he needs to survive that charge. You're giving 50% damage reduction. Superfluke now, he can be the hero. He has this Shadow Ray to go, but he's competing with Milky Man. We know Leaf can go for these aggressive flanks to try and
Milky Man's going to go for the Shadow as well. It does actually land. Superfluke doesn't go down, but the rest of his team do. A perfect pin as well to make sure Superfluke doesn't get out alive. And Gigantti now building up towards some more ults. Zappis can play so far forward here as well, and he's going to have an EMP next time AT engage.
They've supplied Well, they've applied the bandage, they've stopped the bleeding. Angry Titans now won't be able to use momentum to great effect to try and take this. Still a lot of time in the time bank, though, 5 minutes and 15. But you could easily take it on the next fight if you can get a good Graviton Surge here. Kevster, it's going to take a while to build up, but Davin could be first on pulling the trigger. Zappis, if he catches anyone with the CMP on the way in. Last time it was a 5-man EMP. He's getting a lot of AoE here, but when people get aggressive to try and follow them up, that's when we have to see Zuppe on point with the healing, rather than be as aggressive as he was before, because they're losing people on these EMP engages, and Angry Titans are more than happy to take advantage.
He's looking like he wants to go in. AFOX going to have to apply that nano to whoever gets bursted down in the front line rather fast. Graviton Surge comes out, but an instant EMP to make sure they survive the initial onslaught. A nano boost comes out on to AT's main tank, but they instantly get grabbed. Super Fluke and the rest of the team are in trouble, but a perfectly timed sleep dart onto Milky Man stops him doing the damage now. Perfect mitigation of almost everything currently, but not that shatter. Davin gets pinned down in the front line, but still manages to survive as he's got the bio grenade applied to him. And now Super Fluke desperately trying to claim some space, but Milky Man's just not letting him. The rest of Angry Titans are able to, though, as Kevster marches forward straight past the shield of Milky Man and kill off Leaf.
Super Fluke got so low, but he got the armor pack. He's going to be able to get back in the fight, same as Milky Man has got Davin behind him.
He's almost got that Graviton Surge online, but guess who's going to be quicker? It's going to be AT. Kevster throws it out, gets naded in the end, but it doesn't matter. They killed off Milky Man, they killed off Zuppe. That were the main targets for AT to remove. No healing, no frontline main tank now for Gigantti. It's all about stall. They got 2 ticks on the board as well.
And now they've got to try and take out this ball. This is coming in. They stop him before he can contest.
Yeah, Milky Man does get naded also. Couldn't activate those shields quick enough, it seems. People are going to get naded in the back. But again, it's all AT, just building up ults as people do run on in. Even a Doomfist now from Leaf to try and get something out. He is going to get nano, so he does a whole bunch of damage. But we're fighting assassination. Hold the phone, he's not done just yet. A shatter, but Leaf jumps out the way. Are they going to be able to get anything more? Maybe because Zappis kills Super Fluke. Gigantti still holding firm to this point, and Leaf's Doomfist might have just saved them. Kevster, though, denies him of any more damage, and a self-destruct from Morsi as well to clear everybody off the point. They need 10%. The EMP hits everybody, but AT are going to swarm back onto the point as they kill off Milky Man.
There it is. Lil Bird's going to get bursted on down. He's still contesting, though. More people have moved on.
Graviton Surge is going to get used. Nothing you can do about that one now. Leaf's Doomfist was the hope, but they still managed to burn out an absolute gargantuan amount of time as well. That was at least, what, 2 to 3 fights, 2 to 3 lives for everybody?
It was 3 EMPs at least.
There we go.
Coming through from Zappis. There was actually a really cool play there between Lil Bo and Fat, who were trying to sort of outdraw each other on the sound barriers. After the EMP, that's when you're like, oh, okay, I'm Voluso, I didn't get EMP, I'm going to hit the sound barrier now. But instead, to try and facilitate that onslaught, because Team Gigantti knew that they were losing in previous fights where they had that EMP, they used their own sound barriers to try and make an aggressive engage. And that meant that Fat actually waited out both the EMP and the enemy sound barrier. He managed to get a sound barrier a second later. And that meant that they had a lot more in terms of the overshield that is required to keep yourself sustained there. Great play there for Angry Titans. We do have almost 3 minutes in the time bank. And we were hoping that there was going to be a little bit of a resurgence from them. It's going to see some signs of life from the reigning champions currently, even if it doesn't look like it on the field. Angry Titans looking pretty good. And I've got to give a fair amount of credit there to Team Gigantti. It was a valiant attempt at a stall, and Leaf's Doomfist, it's legendary for a reason. Picking AFOX was one of the biggest picks you could get. Unfortunately, Angry Titans actually had a little bit of a mess up in that stall. They actually had Morsi place his self-destruct in the center to clear everyone off. You can easily get the cap, right? You only need like 10%. But while Morsi's self-destruct was in the center and Team Gigantti were carrying away, no one was on the point. There were 4 of them there, and no one was actually contesting the point while no one from Team Gigantti could be there. So I'm really interested how that combo ended up just not happening.
It was scared it was their bomb. The other team's bomb, sorry. Oh, it's their self-destruct.
Morsi, is that your bomb?
We hope so.
I don't know, dude. It looks like the other mech.
Gigantti rolling out. And so for Davin, I can imagine he's going to switch, though, just using that as a scouting arrow. Kev's not going to get found out, though. He's actually still peering away and doing a little bit of damage to the front line.
Yeah, for 8% ult charge, can't really complain right here. Team Gigantti, they're going to swap up their attack. They may just go with this classic 3-3, except with the augmentation of having the Ana instead of a Zenyatta. Like we said before, much less vulnerable to those EMPs. And that also provides a couple of win conditions here. If they can get a sleep onto Super Fluke, facilitate a dive.
Beautiful poop. Milky Man and Zappis actually get bio-grenaded as well, and that's a whole lot of damage to Super Fluke. Already up to 50% towards that primal rage, or 45, close enough.
Yeah, they do a huge amount of damage here. When you move as one, you can see Superfluke waiting eagerly at the door. But look at this, the pack control from Kevster. He's denied the mega health pack from to the right. That means it's no longer safe here for the Ana.
Kevster went pretty low. They're, in fact, the entirety of AT are pretty low currently. They've got Ana or Aafox sitting on the other side, healing them up. Big contest as well from AT. They're going to have to keep leaping in and out. Can't get free ticks over here to Gigantti. Zuppy looking to get that nano ASAP. Kevster's only 15% away now from actually unleashing his own EMP, which means it's a pretty free team fight, to be honest, especially when you got Nano Winston. Superfluke's going to run onto that mega health pack. EMP's going to come through. Zuppy's the only one that didn't get afflicted. He sends out a nano boost of his own, but Superfluke doing so much work. Can dance around this mega health pack as well because it was hacked previous. Morsi gets focused out, however, but Zappis' mech is also going to fall. See you later, straight into the drink for Milky Man. What a defense from AT to start it off. All they need to do now is sustain.
Indeed they do, and like you said, playing around that health pack was so important there for Superfluke. He can just get so much healing. He does about 62.5 HPS overall. If you're getting the maximum usage out of it, they're going to execute Zuppe. And now the time bank for Team Gigantti, that was a long fight, Jules. There was a lot of rotation. There was a lot of pre-planning, meditation that was required for Team Gigantti to make that work. And now they've lost half their time bank for point A with only 49% to their name for it. And Angry Titans, they're more than ready for the coming engagement. They have both of their support ultimates. They also have the rally, which can mean that Superfluke can stand up to Milky Man in that sort of like jostling of main tanks that you need to use to generate space. But it's all about Davin and this Graviton Surge. If he can use that before Aafox or Fat can answer, it could be curtains for an Angry Titans defense.
Playing around that mini so he can maybe attach it to the small box. It doesn't matter because he throws it in anyway. No one can follow up as they all got EMP'd. Morsi's going to use that self-destruct to actually kill off Milky Man. Shield removed and life removed as well for Little Bo. Angry Titans with almost a perfect defense here. They've given away a tick, but there's a minute and a half left remaining in their time bank to attack. And Angry Titans cycling these ults so well, and Kev's still getting an EMP every fight.
Milky Man there just needed to think thin. Unfortunately, was hacked inside there, and his hitbox was too big to hide behind some of the inside little cubbies of that area, meaning that you get caught with the self-destructs. Team Gigantti, they are going to be able to use their nano boost now to facilitate Milky Man quickly building up, but Fat is ready for an early boop.
What a boop, and a nade as well. Zuppy's in trouble, has to run for cover for the time being. Does nade himself, in fact, so that's not actually going to be available for the next engagement. And Superfluke has got his Primal Rage already online again. Milky Man's just straight up not having a good time either. He's getting permanently hacked. AT have got another EMP. They could just throw this one in. Superfluke actually gets booped away, but is it actually going to mean all of anything? No, it's not, because he's going to jump onto Zuppe again, play around that health pack. He wakes up as well. Who woke the sleeping Winston? I don't know. He gets solo grabbed in the side, but is still somehow managing to stay alive. They eventually kill him off. A leaf kills off Fat, who was trying to escort the Winston out of that small health pack room. AT finally scurrying off the point as Gigantti gain control.
Actually, a super rare instance there, an example of how Nano Boost has a travel time. Aafox actually used his Nano Boost onto Superfluke midway through one of his jumps past the doorway, but he died while the Nano Boost was actually in transit, so the ult wasn't used, the healing wasn't gained, and that meant that Aafox now has to build up towards a fresh one with Zuppe having a lead here. And of course, Milky Way, speaking of leads, he has Earth Shadow ready to go. Superfluke, he's been forced onto the Reinhardt. He needs to have that consistent shielding, try and block off his team. He knows a successful Earth Shadow here from Milky Man could mean a huge time bank available for Gigantti, but Milky Man's already been hacked.
Nice little hack, self-destruct on the point for Gigantti. Ends up finding Superfluke. And everybody is looking more than healthy for Gigantti. Asleep on the backline as well. I'm not entirely sure who that was.
Did he just try and pin his own man?
Yeah, Gigantti do get EMPs. The beat's going to get removed as Lil Bo did send that out not just a moment ago. And with that disappearing, Davin's shields are going to disappear as well. That EMP does so much work against Zaya, against Zenyatta. Does signal the fight end for Team Gigantti. They're going to have to reset once more, but Angry Titans, they've got a lot of ults coming up online right now. The support ult in the sound barrier, plus that nano.
Yeah, that was huge value from Titans. They need to stop, they need to stem the bleeding, they need to make sure momentum wasn't on Team Gigantti's side as they move forward once again. Morsi swapping over that onto the Zaya, needs that Graviton to be available as Milky Man goes for the nano attack.
The nano, he's got the shatter as well, but he instantly gets hacked, can't use any abilities now, plus he's naded. So actually this nano not getting a whole lot of value. Superfluke in trouble though, with the last swing of his hammer, he manages to clip him when he had the nano on him. An instant kill onto Superfluke, and AT are going to just scour away from the point, throw in the EMP though, and actually throw down the beat as well. They surge forward and kill Leaf. Milky Man's going to go down also. These EMPs from Kevster are so good. They are the win condition now for AT and Gigantti. don't really seem to have an answer to deal with it.
Urki just turned that fight around with a single use of a whip shot. Did you see Milky Man? He was trying to pin Morsi, who was still on the floor. He was hit by the Earth Shatter, but used the whip shot, forced him into the wall instead, making sure he couldn't pick up that side, deliver the burst damage, and get rid of the main damage dealer from Angry Titans, who are now holding a lot more aggressively. They want Superfluke to be able to take advantage of the aggressive poise he can have while he has that premium on the sound barrier. Zappis now onto the Winston, the double main tank. We've seen this before from British Hurricane. Took great effect on Numbani.
It did. AT's playing this a little bit slow now. They know Gigantti have to make this big rotation, burning even more time off their time bank. 1:40 actually now remains. Superfluke wanted to make sure he doesn't get hacked away, or his shield doesn't get hacked away. There will be a Graviton Surge coming out and a pin that sends Superfluke towards the enemy team spawn, and Milky Man ends up claiming his life. The rally was good for AT, but have they got anything else more in their tank? Morsi throws it in the grab, trying to deal with people, but there's not enough damage to follow it up. Zappis and Little Bo will end up finding kills, and AT, they can come back in with a Nano, a Shatter, and an EMP, but it's all about landing them, and you've got 6 people to deal with as well.
Oh, they actually
the Shatter!
They interrupted the EMP!
Kevster! His EMP disappears! Milky Man sacrifices his own life for the greater good, but they still got a main tank online. This Zap is in the front line. He takes out Avox, who've used that Nano already. And now Zappis can use the Primal Rage on point. Not sure he's going to need to at this opportunity because Superfluke's already dead.
Well, they need to make sure they don't get this cap in overtime. They need to have it with some seconds of a bank, Jaws.
Ball's going to come in, stalls even more time. Urki going to use that rally as well to be even more scary on the field, but he gets instantly grabbed and killed off by Little Bo. Now the main tank is back. Milky Man coming in, can just smack everybody around and earn that ult so fast. He's already up to 50%, and he's only just returned. Little Bo finds another kill. 2 ticks have been gained from Gigantti now, but they've got 30 seconds remaining to actually secure it without OT being a problem.
Ooh, okay, there it is. The second EMP there from Kevster. I've got to give him credit for building that up so quickly in a stagger scenario, but what a huge usage of the Earth Shatter from it. He interrupted an EMP. That's like, I'm done with you bullying me. I've had enough. No, I report you for gameplay sabotage, and I'm going to show you exactly how effective my report is.
Charged him off the edge. He had Nano Boost on him as well, by the way.
Yeah, like, the Nano Sombra, I'm not sure if that was intentional. Maybe.
It was the only person in front of him.
But still, you can guarantee the kill if you just keep him CC'd for a long period. You get the Earth Shatter, and you get the charge. I CC'd for all of that, and can you imagine if, like, he charged off the edge, then let go of him, and Kevster got to translocate, and he just went.
That would actually be the worst.
That Milky Man has left the lobby.
Well, you know, still would cancel the EMP, so that's 1 point to his name at least. Milky Man really the hero play, and then, like I mentioned before, double main tank was on the offense too, and Zappis was able to take up so much space and control over those small chokes and earn that Primal Rage so fast, and then it was just batting people away from the point. Free time for Gigantti. Speaking of time, we've only got 1 minute remaining though, Harry, against a 3:22 of AT.
Yeah, the cap of about 30 seconds, so the 30 seconds is also given to Angry Titans for fairness' sake. And I like the usage of a Winston here. It does mean they can put a huge amount of pressure onto an enemy main tank, especially a Reinhardt, because obviously the Tesla coil, it does damage through shields. So it means that the Reinhardt is never quite as safe as they would have anticipated, because 3 people can pierce their shields with the use of the Reinhardt, for Brigitte, and for Winston. Zapp's going to be sticking to it on the first point here. Must be expecting Kevster is playing on that Sombra.
Zappis does get booped off high ground. There he goes. Spots the Pesky Lucio. Lucio did get healed in the meantime, though, as well by the nade, so he's all right. Sleep onto Milky Man on the side. Not sure that will have too much of an effect for Gigantti. A nade onto Milky Man as well. Double main tank once again, trying to control that high ground, but not doing a good job of it so far. Fat is still booping him away.
And there is the dive coming through from the Winston. Is going to do a potentially large amount of damage from Zappis.
Yeah, Kevster building up to the ult charge rather quickly as well. Another big jump in from Zappis, but he gets immediately hacked. He couldn't get healed quick enough either. Zappis was shooting him straight in the body, but the healing was just not there. It wasn't big enough. And now everybody critical on Zappis' screen, slightly panicking maybe. EMP's going to come out as well. The Nano Boost is available. He did manage to dodge it, but Milky Man's already dead. Davin's going to have to come off huge, but Leaf gets pushed off the edge of the map. OT ticking down. Gigantti have a win condition though. 2 ticks have been acquired. OT disappears. And now AT, they need 2 ticks and a bit in 3:22.
Yeah, it's not all bad with that 76%. It is still winnable for Team Gigantti. But right now, we're looking like Angry Titans could take this map quite easily. 3:22. Just got to build up those 6 ultimates. Just take an unlosable fight, potentially. Team Gigantti, though, they did take advantage of the fact that they did have that double main tank. They had a lot more bruiser and staying power. They could have just forced people off the point and made sure that Angry Titans, when they came onto that point, they were made to pay for it. We saw that Urki actually went up onto the high ground to try and play with Aafox. That was a forced position because they knew that Zappis was going to make that dive. They needed a shield bash there, they needed a whip shot, making sure that...
And the hack too. Kevster was up there as well.
We had a lot of resource from Angry Titans channeled into making sure Aafox was not going to be a victim of this Winston, because if you can use your bubble in a good way, you can mitigate all of Anna's potential to try and shut you down on the dive with a sleep dart and the Bardic Grenade.
Gigantti running out with something very different though on the defense. Have a triple DPS, solo healer, so the 1-2-3. A little bit, slightly Cloak and Vendetta comp, but not really. They got the pull port combo with the Hog and Orisa as well. They're just looking to isolate one person, kill them off instantly, and they're just hoping that Davin doesn't get too many eyes looking towards him. He's going to snipe a couple of people in the back line.
Well, if you want to play triple DPS, Team Gigantti has one of the best team rosters in Contenders EU for it. Zappis, formerly a DPS player, has got a mean McCree, a mean Farah as well. He sort of popularized Anna by just telling his team when he was on Ninjas in Pajamas, I want to play Anna, guys. Angry Titans here, though, they do have their own Anna. They can deny a huge amount of healing with Bardic Grenade, and when you've only got a solo healer in Lilbo, it can be that a single Bardic Grenade, especially onto a vulnerable target like Zuppe, could force this comp to just fall apart.
Angry Titans going to do exactly the same thing as Gigantti doing right now, except Morsi actually is just going to be on the D.Va instead. No Mei to be seen, but she can absorb a lot of damage, plus use that mitigation of the defense matrix as well. That was almost a one-shot on Super Pluke.
Yep.
He's very lucky he survived that.
That's a lot of damage coming through. Super Pluke is going to get healed up, though. That's going to give over a lot of ultimate charge to Fat, who has only been on this Mercy for a little while.
Oh, Leaf!
Beautiful!
No! He tried to dodge away, but
that's as good as it gets.
That is as good as it gets. Zappis is going to have to play so safe now around this corner. He's going to have to try and find something. Well, actually already used the block, and Urki's going to take control of the high ground as well. It's going to take so long for Leaf to come back. He's switched over to the Tracer instead.
And that's Morse's advantage here, right? He can eat the Holtz. There's no opportunity to do that.
Davin needs to win this. He needs to win this against Kevster, and he's done it. The Resurrection could come through, but he's in a very dangerous position for the Mercy to do so. Zappis ends up going down as Urki finds the kill. The Resurrection's still not there for Fat. In fact, Little Bo's going to be able to get his one off, and actually Kevster ends up getting up as well. But Davin's now just chewing the front line up. 2 kills. He does get killed off in the end, but the damage has already been done.
And he may be in a safe position here for Little Bo to attempt a resurrection later on. Milky Man trying to claim some position, but look who's behind him. We do have Angry Titans on a big flank right here. Possibly Kevster can get a couple of shots onto Milky Man, who almost has that supercharger ready to go. The second he uses that, Davin's going to be ultra effective. He's going to be doing a lot of damage per shot and can get rid of these tanks, get rid of a staying power of Angry Titans. You've got to see a huge amount of value from Milky Man's supercharger here.
Sights were popped. It's an easy kill onto Kevster for Davin, who now looking for this big flank. That was almost the head of Fat being splattered against that wall. Pulsebomb actually gets eaten by Morsi. Not the worst thing in the world, of course. Removes that ult from the field. The supercharger is going to get laid down from Milky Man, though.
They don't have to engage us. Look at them. They're just holding back. They're like, we don't need to fight this. That's going to expire, and then we're going to have an advantage with our own supercharger moving on forward.
The wall's going to come out soon, but that wall will instantly get disintegrated. You see it there. Instantly goes down. Ice block from Zappis to stop the damage from the Dragon Strike. He has got a Blizzard still, and Kevster manages to find the kill onto Leaf. The one shot on the body, and Zappis is dead. It was all over in a blink of an eye. That Blizzard got launched straight to the back line, but did little to nothing as AT pushed forward, through and past the shield. Morsi's going to kill off Davin as well, and now it's only Zuppe on the point to try and contest, and he ends up going down. Leaf comes back on the ball, but is it too little too late? I think it is, especially with Little Bo going down. AT coming back with vengeance against Gigantti as they secure Voskaya.
And Aafox's aggression there was so highly rewarded. He made the big flank. He forced out an ice block by getting a hook and a shot onto the Mei, and while that ice block was up, he just loaded up his scrap launcher. He started whole hogging at the ice block, knowing that the second Zappis popped out of it, no fun was allowed for him. Even if he put an ice wall between them, they've only got 400 HP per pillar. That gets quickly broken down by a whole hog, and then he panic uses for Blizzard. He's like, I'm going to die here. We need this ultimate so that we can potentially win the fight.
Yeah, they launched it at the back. It was like, well, that's where they were. That's not where they are now.
Just
and they already ran through the shield at that point. Orissa's like, well, I guess I die. Like, there's nothing really else I can do. I can fortify, I suppose. Davin's going to have to click more than just 2 heads at the start of the fight, apparently. Has been almost hard carrying some of these and managed to get the better of Kevster at the end.
Well, the carry is going to have to be spread evenly over the course of the next few maps because Angry Titans, they've evened it up. This is no longer going to be a clean set series for Gigantti, but some people may have predicted. Angry Titans definitely looking a lot better in that second map, so potentially where these objectives are a little bit more pertinent to how they're playing, they are in a better position. We often see that Control can often throw some teams through a loop, especially teams that haven't been together for too long. It can really strain some communication, even if it is more about mechanical skill than some would say strategy.
Kev's Sombras have been looking pretty good as well. I want to see him more on it. I mean, this Sombra Goats has just been so effective in multiple regions at this point. It's definitely here to stay. I think 3-3, just standard 3-3 is going to trail off just ever so slightly in favor of this Sombra, especially if you can build it up like Kevster was doing. He had almost won every single fight when they were on the defense.
And you have to think as well that when you're up against a Sombra, that can be a huge mental factor for a team that's facing up against it, because you've seen that people don't have a huge amount of fun when they're being hacked by a Sombra, as most famously said by Super, maybe, in the Overwatch League.
Maybe.
It does.
No, it is said by Super, yes.
It does get in your head as a main tank. You're not playing the game as you are used to, and of course, Davin did have a huge performance, but I love him on the Sombra as well. He's very good at those flanker heroes. He was a main of Tracer for a long time, so he's very much used to that sort of like zipping around the backline, having the self-sustain, and just being an experienced skirmisher who demands a huge amount of attention.
Davin was pretty much skirmishes anyway. He didn't really need all of anything. He was just taking out Kevs to left, right, and center, had that big flank consistently. Almost won the game for them, but not quite. It's AT drawing the series with Gigantti. They're one apiece right now as we go into map number 3, but not after this quick break.